got that camera muted if you're not in position to be on camera, okay? And definitely always keep your lines muted, all right? So let me jump back in the chats. I see we have more people joining us. Tim says, ready for that blessed and highly favored package. Yes, absolutely. And I see we have Dale Boudreaux on the line from Louisiana. Welcome to the line tonight. And yes, Happy New Year to every single person on the line. You know, we made it through 2023. We got through it, and now we are on to a new page, right? We are on a new note. So I love that. Excited for everything 2024 has to offer to us. Again, my name is Carly Gwynn. I'm not your speaker or trainer tonight, but I do have the honor and privilege of welcoming you guys to the call and hosting the call for you tonight. So again, we're going to get started in a few moments, but let me jump back over to Facebook and see who we have joining us. I see we have the always fabulous Angel Trend chiming in from Houston, Texas. Welcome to the line tonight. Awesome job on Crash Camp this past Saturday. And for those of you guys who might be new to the family, definitely, if you don't know what Crash Camp is, get with the person that invited you to the call. You absolutely want to know about Crash Camp. You absolutely want to make sure that even if you can't attend live, that you're watching the replay and getting all of the nuggets. Guys, there are so many nuggets that happen. There's so many breakthroughs that happen on Crash Camp. So definitely make sure you're not missing out on that call as well. Again, there's so much value inside the Foresight Business Academy that I really think that people take for granted sometimes, because maybe you've been a part of the family for a long time. Maybe you've known Mr. and Mrs. Bean for a long time. But guys, don't let that cost you in the long run because you're too familiar, right? Now, let me not get on my soapbox, but I'm just saying, don't discount the value simply because you're familiar with the people who are bringing all the value to the table, right? We know them, we love them, for those of us that have been around, but make sure you're keeping that value for everything that they bring to us, because they really, truly have a heart to help each and every single one of us achieve our goals. Again, don't forget that vision: 10,000 families, $5,000 a month in residual income, okay? Passive income. And I'm so grateful for them always looking to see how they can help us to be better, how they can improve our lives. What more value can they stack on top of everything else that they've brought to the table? First and foremost, the heart that they have for their people. I'm so grateful to be a part of the Foresight Business Academy, and that I get to work with leaders who really, I know, truly have a heart to see me win and to see me be my best self, right? So anyways, with all of that being said, let me off my soapbox now, but definitely if you don't know about Crash Camp, don't miss it, okay? So make sure you get that information for sure. But without further ado, it is time for me to step out of the way of greatness. The gentleman I have the honor and privilege of introducing to you tonight, he truly needs no introduction, but I'm going to give him one anyways, okay? He's created millions of dollars investing himself. But more importantly, he's created this business model that is full of different opportunities that have made millions of dollars for other people, right? Everything from short-term to long-term investments, commodities, and master classes for wealth creation. His last and most current project, he built a book of business in excess of over $8 million in just 5 months. And I'm not going to tell all of his business as to how much money he made himself, okay? But I think you can imagine with those numbers, he did pretty well for himself, okay? And helped a lot of people do well for themselves also. As I mentioned before, he has a goal to help 10,000 families generate $5,000 per month in residual recurring income. And he's definitely showing us how to do that right now. What I love most, though, about this gentleman is he's the definition of integrity and character. And he's one of the only people that's ever been and done every single thing that he ever committed to me that he would be or do. So please without further ado, please give me some 4 5s in the chat. Give me some fire. Give me some hearts in the chat and help me welcome to the line the GOAT, the greatest of all time, also known as the People's Champ, Mr. Samuel Bean.
What's going on, Carly? What's going on? How we doing? Happy New Year. Happy New Year, everybody. I appreciate you, Carly. Thank you for getting on here and hosting, but also thanking you for knocking out the call earlier today. I had some people on there give me some nice feedback, said Carly be killing it. I like that. I like that. And so, guys, if you missed it, go back because it's in a Facebook group. Go watch it and go tag some people into it. That way you can make sure that your people don't miss it. And I know next week she'll be on a cruise, so you won't get a chance to hear from her next week. So make sure y'all get y'all feel of Carly this week. All right. Also, be on lookout for Thursday night, because Thursday night we will have another presentation that will be done, and so we got to make sure. I think Blashanika is going to be back. I know Laura actually killed it on last Thursday night, and standing in the gap for her. And our prayers with her family. I know she lost a loved one, but she'll be back in the saddle come Thursday. And so show up, because she's going to show out, as all of our presenters do. For those of you who are brand new, welcome to the family. A lot of brand new people who are joining the investment club, and I'm excited about that. I'm always excited about that. And when you look at what we're doing, guys, what we're doing is special, and what we do, it's what we're doing with purpose. We're looking to impact people's lives globally, and not just the people in our family, the people on our roof, people we love, care, and people who we're familiar with, but the people who we haven't even met yet. We're preparing to bless them, and so that's what this is really all about. Okay, every one of you on this phone call, on this Zoom, can find a way to service your family financially and find a way to impact the economy up under your roof. Everybody can do that. Today's economy, the gig economy, has put people in a position of empowerment. But when you do it as a group, when you do it as a club, it's easier, simpler, more fulfilling, and you have people who are along for the ride to celebrate you, but also help you. So again, don't take these moments for granted. Like Carly says, when you're here, guys, be here. And so for me, it's like this year, be present, show up for your own rescue. Remember, 80% of success is just showing up, right? And so when you look at being on these Zooms, like Carly says, know that you're going to be here. Make an appointment to be here if it's important to you, but make an appointment to be here on camera. Because when you look at, being on camera, being present, taking notes, showing people that you're present, it does something for the people around you, but it also does something for your team members who are here as well. This is another form of showing up. It's another way of letting people know that this is how professionals behave. This is what we do. And so, make sure you do that. But again, when you look at our group, guys, this is the foresight family, and that foresight, that word is very key. Okay? It means vision. And we like to say that we know that you're rich before you do. Okay? I just believe that everybody was born kings and queens, and just like any other throne that you're about to inherit, that should be a rite of passage, and you have to deserve to sit there. And that's what we're here to help you do, become efficient, effective, and help you personally develop into your wealth. Okay. But again, our identity, if you will, who we are, it's all about Project Pride, producing residual income in a down economy. And again, that's who we are. That's what we do. That's our whole agenda, our whole motive, is putting people in a position where one day they'll never have to worry about money again as long as they live. One day putting people in a position where they can work their way out of a job, or work their way out of a situation, or work their way out of a business or a company that they just want to take the rest of their life off. And passive residual income is the best way to do that. Okay, as it pertains to our immediate definition of purpose, guys. Our immediate definition of purpose is, over the next 2 years, to 3 to 4, maybe even 5 at the most, 10,000 people, Project 10,000, helping 10,000 families get to $5,000 a month of residual, recurring, extra passive income. Okay, throw a couple of extra words in there because they all mean something, right? Extra, because when you look at $5,000 a month, guys, that's 60 grand a year. You add that to a household, and special things can actually happen, right? Things change. Okay? And so when you look at, my own personal definition of purpose, which is selfish, Me helping people and me growing this team and growing this group, it puts me in a position where I can impact the lives of 1 million kids, literally, directly, indirectly, by coaching and mentoring the people who they look up to, people who they respect. And, that's no different than what John C. Maxwell or Napoleon Hill or any of the late greats, Jim Rohns, these people, they do the same thing, have done the same thing, and their teachings and their legacies and their impact is survived them. And they're still making a difference every day. And so, again, that's who we are. That's who I am. And again, welcome to our Foresight family. So the one thing I do want you guys to come into the new year with is get yourself fit to do business and mentally and physically. And so I'm not going to go into it. I'm just saying, get in shape, some kind of way, shape, form, and fashion. Just start walking everywhere you go, or start walking or on a track, do a little jogging, do a little bicycling. You don't have to go out there and get a membership. Just go do something different and a little bit extra than what you did last year. Okay. Again, like me and Dale was having a conversation last night, and we were talking about money and we were talking about health. And I just told him, I said, hey, look, money is no good if you're not around to spend it. Okay. Trust me. You don't want to have low self-esteem, out of shape, and wealthy. Again, because you're still not going to be able to enjoy it. Yeah, you want to be able to enjoy that lifestyle. You want to be able to hit those beaches, be on those cruises. You want to be able to wear those two pieces and look good in the one piece, right? And so again, make sure you're taking care of yourself, guys. I'm just telling you right now, life is too short. You only have one life to live, and mental health is very, very important as well. A lot of us ran up against it in 2023, and a lot of people went through some things in 2023, and a lot of people grew up in 2023 as well. A lot of people personally developed, a lot of people persevered, pushed through, a lot of people made some money. But one thing that, I can't say about 2023 is everybody's going into 2024 different. It impacted you directly or indirectly, some kind of way, shape, form, or fashion. And if it was negative and you ran up against it, again, make sure that you are taking care of yourself mentally and emotionally. The stress is real. Yeah, and a lot of companies out there are, and I'm just even back to network marketing companies, just to the point to where the network marketing companies, for those of you who still participate in that industry, these owners now are putting you in a position where now they're forcing you to now have to work even though you created residual income. You got companies right now, I'm just telling you that they are now putting people on the chopping block and saying, hey, look, you got to come in and build it, or we're going to stop your checks. And it's not what it used to be. They're greedy, they're selfless, they're selfish, and things are happening. And so you'll see a lot of people who are successful networkers who built books of businesses are under attack right now. Okay? And so that's a whole entirely different stress. Okay? But the other thing you want to do right now is you want to focus on forgiveness. And again, 2023 brought some baggage on some people and put some people in a position where they made some decisions that they're guilty or they feel bad about. And I'm just telling you, that person who made that decision is back there in 2023. Okay. Don't punish yourself in 2024 because you're not the same person that made that. Physically, you are. Mentally and emotionally, it's a whole entirely different day. You're not. Okay. So one, forgive yourself. Also, have some forgiveness for people who meant you well and things just didn't go your way, but they meant well. So don't take it out on them as well, because again, I can just tell you right now, through everything that we've been through, I can't name one person who invited anybody to anything that we did with malice, with bad intentions. One thing about our group and our family is I know that we are composed of great people, okay? Amazing human beings. And so, remember, always consider the source. Okay? When you're looking at the people who gave you that phone call, or who gave you that text message, or who sent you that screenshot, whoever it was, whatever they did, remember, they don't own those companies, right? But they meant you well. So consider the source, know that person meant you well, and don't bring any baggage, from 2023 into 2024, because it's only going to affect you and the people who are counting on you. This is the only way you can get aerodynamic and get low to the ground and run. Okay. This is if you're going to get aerodynamic, low to the ground and run, it's easy to leave that stuff in the past. If you're sitting there walking around, moping around, and you're still bearing that weight, it's gonna be with you forever. And you don't deserve it, and they don't either. And a lot of you guys, some of you are probably saying, well, look, I've done my forgiving and I'm emotionally sophisticated and, I've moved on. Well, again, the funny thing about forgiveness is that it's not linear. It has nothing to do with time. Some of you believe, I haven't seen this person in a while, I haven't talked to this person in a while, and I've forgiven them, and you have people who say, I've forgiven, but but I don't forget. And well, when you really think about it, you really haven't forgiven either, because I can tell you, most people who think they're emotionally sophisticated enough to forgive on all levels realize that it just takes one thing to trigger something that puts you back in a mood and have you feeling some kind of way about a person or a situation. Now, all of us has been through it, whether it's been in relationships or whether it's been in business. All it takes is, something, to trigger you, and you'll realize that you haven't forgiven, you haven't healed. And again, that's why I said meditating and mental health is so important. And you guys have to make sure that you're ready to go to war, okay? Mentally, emotionally, not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, spiritually. Okay. So things are changing, things are evolving right before our very eyes. And we have to be able to, move and adjust and be extremely flexible while we're going through this journey. And so we have to. So, but that's important. I just want to make sure that I just dropped that nugget. Like I said, it's not going to be a whole entire training on nothing like that. It's just, I just need you to, when you leave this call, just take inventory of the things that you actually have to do. Not necessarily the things that you want to do, the things that you really have to do first. And then start from there. And everything else is optional. All right. But I'm extremely excited about what's going on, guys. When you look at SCF, for me, Kim and I, again, we've told you guys where we stand on this, and a lot of you guys we see have been we're already doing your donations before Kim and I even did it. And that's fine, because you're an independent investor. And again, our decision is not the ultimate decision. And that's not even saying that our decision is the right decision or the only decision. It's just saying that we made our decision, but we have made our donations. And so again, we're just kind of telling you guys where we're at in this process, because we are all here together. And I want to make sure I make that public, because just like I don't want to miss anything, if in fact this thing turns around or they do what they're supposed to do in March, I don't want you to miss anything either. Yeah. And so that's one thing that I don't want to have on my spirit. So by making this announcement, I free myself of, any guilt that may come with that later on in life. Okay. So again, I want to make sure we do that part. As far as the one thing I can say though, moving into what you should do also, another little bit of advice is it's time to also tighten up your circle, right? Don't let a lot of people in your inner circle. Increase your pipeline for business, right? And increase your pipeline and open up your Rolodex and expand your Rolodex. And that should blow up. That should be huge. But right now it's time for us to start limiting our personal space and tightening up our circle based on the fact that you want to protect yourself too. You want to make sure you don't have as many distractions as you would have with people who, who are going to come along to distract you on a lot of different levels. But tighten up your circles, increase your pipelines. Let's see here. Oh yeah, and then the last thing, because I'm gonna get out of the way. We got a lot of really good stuff for you guys. One thing we're going to be doing pretty much on a weekly basis is we're going to have some of our experts come through here and do something for you guys, something special for you guys. But speaking of that, leading up to that, we're going to be focusing again on building out 𝐍𝐎. We're still doing that. Mrs. Bean is actually going to come in just a moment, and she's going to lay some things out to you guys and break some things down to you guys and make some things really, really clear for you guys. And it's been there on Linktree and everything else, but we understand how human beings behave. We understand that even though we say it's right there, at some point in time, you need someone to impose their will and trigger some movement, and get you in a position where, you know what, if it's that simple, I'm gonna go ahead and follow y'all's instruction. If it's that simple, I'm gonna go ahead and do what you said. I'm gonna just go over here and watch these videos. Okay, but she's gonna come in and do something special for you guys, and that's why I said special. One of our special guests, you know, she don't train, but when she does train, you know, people make more money. And as I say, the people who she worked with directly, all of her people are the most thorough. They make the least mistakes, and their teams are they're most prepared. They're very efficient, and they duplicate down into their groups well, very, very well. Again, you talk about learning how to teach from the best teacher that we have in the organization. My personal opinion, it's special. And again, when you say the apple that fall from the trees, the people who are tied to her directly, they never call us with problems. They basically call us with benefits and say, hey, look, this is what I found out while I was helping X, Y, and Z. This is what, if you need me to do anything for us or take the load off your back, this is what I'm prepared to do for you. It's everybody else that calls and has problems and has challenges, and they want to turn you into customer service. That's another thing. Right now, you're gonna have to make your people grow up. This in 2024, we're not coddling anybody. In 2024, again, this is about you now fighting for your freedom. It's about you being where you need to be, you being present, you being on calls, you being on trainings. We're not going to be double training, not going to be double teaching. And if it's available for you and we have a resource for you, trust me, that's where we're going to send you. Okay, guys, you don't work for anybody here. Don't let a person put you in a position of employment when they're not paying you. This is independent business, okay? And so, as a matter of fact, if anybody can relate to that, just put some ones in the chats right there. If you are a person who's an entrepreneur, not an employee, put me. I just want to see who I'm talking to real quick before I turn y'all over to, you know, our next trainers, what have you, because again, you have to be different. I remember the day when I said I was not going to be an employee for my group, and I wasn't going to let the group, you know, be the tail wagging the dog, and I was going to make them responsible. That day, 11 years ago, that's when things changed for me. No, I took that back. That day, 14 years ago, that's when things changed for me. And again, some of you guys are too accessible, too available, and some of you are just too sweet, too nice, too yellow, too blue, and you get run over. The Reds and Greens don't get run over. The Reds and Greens, they don't even call the Reds and Greens with it because they know the Reds and Greens have been told them something different, you know. And so, but yellows and blues, you get bullied, you get taken advantage of, and you know it, but you don't know. You know what? You just allow it. Okay? And that's not how business people, you know, function. Not healthy relationships. Those are toxic relationships. So, when it comes to El Green, guys, again, we've always, you know, had the idea of transitioning money from one point to another. Okay? And what we're going to do is, again, I have been vetting a situation. It's not a passive, you know, platform like the ones that we've been doing. It's more of a traditional platform that, you know, Kim and I have made the most money off of in the shortest period of time. You know, it was one of the fastest ways we got to $1 million, but it was methodically, it was predictable, and it was in a position where we knew exactly who was doing it. Okay, and so a lot of you guys are going to have access, you know, to that once we finish this process up, you know, probably within another week or two. We're going to be transitioning our funding, you know, from some of our other platforms and also from some of our accounts to, you know, launch that endeavor, you know, for us as well as you guys. So we're going to be making that announcement on what it is, and mostly for it may or may not. We haven't decided if we're going to open it up to everybody just yet. Again, we want to make sure that this is one of those situations where we let the right people in. You know, we put the people in who really understand the process, people who understand the journey, people who, again, we just want the right people in. And everything is just not made for everybody. Okay? And so when you have a lot of people who don't show up, a lot of people who don't plug in, a lot of people who don't take responsibility for their investments and their businesses, guys, those are the people who you don't want in. And it's not that they're bad people, it's just that those are people who cause you the most problems. Those are the people who bring you the biggest headaches. And those are people, quite frankly, who will stab you in the back 9 times out of 10. Okay? Because they'll be the ones throwing you under the bus because they wasn't there for their own situation. Okay? And so we'll kind of give you guys, you know, the idea of how we're going to roll that out. It may just be through leaders. but it may be through leaders and recommendation, but again, we'll figure that out within the next week or so. But again, we do have something that is going to be, again, very, very powerful, that we're going to get ourselves in a position where once we get our positions in 𝐿 �ગ્રીન to a certain point, I'll start transitioning some of my monies out of that, just like I did when we were transitioning money out of Novatech to 𝐿 �ગ્રીન and SCF and everything else. And your money from your businesses and your investments are supposed to be the seed capital for the next investment. And so you want to be responsible for it. And just like anything else, guys, I am not a financial advisor. I am just a person here with scenarios that's here for entertainment purposes only. I want to give you some scenarios that may work for you, and you get a chance to take a look at it, kick them around and see if it works for you. And if it does, then again, we'll be here with you. But just want to share that with you guys. Again, I'm excited about it coming into the new year. I was definitely looking for something that had a safer, more secure feel, something that was more predictable, something that was very, very impactful as well, that I can put my name on. Okay. And so as I'm rebuilding my brand and patching up holes in 2024, we'll still be making strides, we'll still be running, and we'll still be going out here becoming dominant in the investment space. So with that being said, I want to bring two of our what I say usual suspects for our Grant Cardone was it a crash camp on Saturdays. I have Dr. Arlene George and I have Miss Laura Johnson, Laura from the block. And so they're going to come on real quick here, and they're going to do what we call the PS5. So since we are, again, focusing on Lanscreen, the PS5 role play they're going to do for you guys is going to be on Lanscreen. So for those of you who this will be your first time, you just joined the group, they have access to the printouts for 𝐿 �ગ્રીન for the PS5. And so you'll get a chance to come back and watch these professionals do this, because this is recorded live in the actual Facebook group, in the 𝐿 �ગ્રીન group. So Laura, Dr. Arlene, you guys come on here and take it away, and then we'll transition to Mrs. Bean.
Thank you, sir.
Thank
Miss
you, sir.
Arlene, I'm ready.
You're ready? Okay, well, I'm going to start off by prefacing that I was first introduced to PS5 by Mr. Bean, and I thought I didn't need a script until I needed a script. So I still keep that PS5 in front of me. I use two screens, and I make sure one is always up, because I always want to come back to it to reference exactly where I am and exactly where I should be staying on script. So I'm calling you. I'm on camera, young man. Here's my son.
Do we know
Say
each
hello.
other?
Hey, everybody.
Goodbye.
Goodbye, everybody.
Sorry about that, Mr. Bean. You just
That's,
did.
that's the beautiful thing about home-based businesses.
Ready, Miss Laura?
I am ready. Do we know each other, or is it a cold call?
We know each other.
Okay, ready to go.
Ready? Oh, Miss Rachel, you're unmuted. All right, ring.
Hello.
Hi, Laura. It's Arlene.
Oh, hi, Arlene. How you doing?
I am well. I need about 3 minutes of your time. Is that good with you?
Absolutely. What's up?
Awesome. I'm about to send you something. Check your phone.
Okay, so what's this?
Did you get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What is
Remember when we spoke about you wanted to spend more time with your grandkids?
Oh, absolutely.
And what'd you tell me you needed more of in order to be able to do that?
More money, of course.
More money. Exactly. Well, what I sent you there is one of my investments. I'm part of an investment club, and that's one of my investments. And what you're looking at is my returns. The screenshot shows my daily return from my most recent royalty account. They're paying 1% 6 days a week, up to 200% of your initial package. What do you like best about that, Laura?
Well, I like the idea of the money, but is this for real?
I understand fully what you're saying. Is it for real? Because when I got the phone call about 1% a day, I had the exact same question. Why don't we jump on a call? I'll be able to share something with you, and we will be able to answer some of those questions for you.
Okay, well, I can do that, but I can't do it right now. Could we do it later on?
When would you like to do that? I mean, 1%, couple of minutes. I think you might have the time. More time with the grandbabies.
Yeah, I guess you're right,
Mhm.
Yeah,
So I'm sending
1%,
you a
you're
Zoom
right.
link.
Okay, so how long is it gonna take? How long is it gonna take?
It'll take about 9 minutes, but I always ask the question, how long is 1% a day worth for 6 days a week?
You got a point there. Okay, yeah, I have time.
All right, so I just sent you it, and we've looked at the video, and now we're gonna, in the share the presentation
Mhm.
part of the PS5. So Miss Laura, tell me, what did you like best about what you just saw?
Well, what I liked best was, like you said, the 1% a day. I like the fact that, you can earn that amount of money. But I'm concerned though, Arlene.
What are you concerned about?
Well, I'm not a gambler. And so, I don't know if this is for me.
Mm, I'm not a gambler either, Laura, and you know that. And this is sports trading, sports contract. So you're actually not betting. But I understand how you feel, because most people, when they look at it, they wonder whether or not it's betting, right? And then I have to explain to them that it's a sports contract where you're making royalties on a sports contract.
Okay, so what do you mean by royalties? So I'm I'm getting this sports contract and I'm getting paid for that?
Yes, ma'am, you're getting a sports contract. And like the video said, it creates liquidity. And for that, you get a royalty of 1% a day, 6 days a week.
Okay. Okay, that makes better sense then.
So other than, betting, which we know it's not, what other concerns do you have, Ms. Laura?
Well, that was my main concern, but I'm just not familiar with, this arena of, crypto and all of that. So, am are you going to be able to help me out with that? Because I really just don't know anything about that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And you mentioned crypto, and remember, this is sports contract,
Okay.
okay? But
Yeah.
definitely I am here. And actually, I also have my mentor who is there. He and his wife are a lot more skilled than I am. They have helped more people to be successful. They're helping me to be successful. So it's not just me you have an entire team. We're called the Foresight Business Academy. So you have an entire team of individuals who are committed to what we call Project 5,000. It's helping people like you, people like me, make $5,000 in residual income every month so that we can do the things that we want to do with our families, like hang out with the grandbabies.
Yeah, that would be really nice. $5,000 a month.
Exactly. And what would you do with an extra 5,000 a month?
Oh my goodness. My number one thing is traveling with the kids. I love for them to experience different places in the world, different culture. So I would travel with them.
And that's exactly why I thought of you, Laura, and in exposing you to this 1% a day, because I know that you have a plan, what you would do with the additional funds that you would get, and that you would appreciate being able to make 1% a day. So let me ask you a question. Have you seen enough to fund your account?
Yeah, I think so. I think so.
Excellent, excellent. So let's go ahead and let's get your account funded, and welcome to the Foresight family.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, guys. All right. Thank you, Dr. Arlene. Thank you very much, Laura. I appreciate you guys coming in here and and setting the stage for everybody. And like, guys, again, they did it all for you guys. They gave you guys some feedback from what would be some things that I'm gonna come up against, what would be some objections that we would actually face, and how do you handle those objections? How do you basically talk about this being, royalty based as opposed to, commission based? It's not an investment. It's, again, contracts. And so there are certain things certain ways you want to say it, but they did it. They read it from the script. They took their time, and I appreciate them for doing that. And next week, we'll have 2 brand new people doing it. Again, we just want to make sure that every week, since we'll be having brand new people join, we'll have brand new people doing it. And we'll show you guys that everybody is becoming experts, not just the people who you see on a regular basis. So again, thank you guys for doing that for us. And so now we want to go ahead and get to the part of the actual event tonight that, again, is focusing, a lot, on the actual 𝐍𝐓 campaign itself. And we have one of our best, one of our most thorough representatives when it comes to that part of the business, and that's Mrs. Kim Bean. And I want to make sure that she's on. Ms. Bean, if you're on, if you're ready, let me know.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, she is. Hey, beautiful. Floor is all yours. And again, everybody knows exactly why you're here, and I'll get out your way.
Oh, I forgot I was in the middle of doing something. Hang on. Did y'all hear that? There you go, Tim. That's what I was busy doing. Happy New Year's, everyone. Super excited to share this information. Can't wait. I do want to share somebody that logged in on Zoom. They're logged in with their password. Mr. Bean, I don't have hosting ability, so I don't know what you want to, how you want to handle that. But also, if you could kindly make KB Zoom a co-host as well, because I want to share screen on my phone as well.
Gotcha.
Okay, that's me. And then also KB Zoom.
And KB Zoom, okay.
All of them are me.
Gotcha.
Okay. I got to be extra. Great.
That's why I'm hard to keep up with you.
I know, right? Got to keep you on your toes, sir.
That's right.
Okay. There we go. Can you see my screen, sir?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Good deal. Okay. Well, I'm super excited to share this information. I've been wanting to do this for quite some time now, and just finally came to realization, hey, you know what? It's the new year. People need to know this information. We kind of gauge the temperature, the temperament of the team, and see what's going on. Anytime we don't see major activity, we know that a confused person does nothing. So perhaps maybe this information I could share with you today, and it could be quite helpful. All of this information is already on the I don't know it offhand, off the www.𝐍𝐓
Linktree.
Yes, this is the link tree, but you could also go to www.𝐍𝐓.vip. It's that quick link to Linktree. You may see Linktree / whatever. That is the long way to get logged in to see those videos. But if you go to this right here, you'll be able to access the same information on Linktree with all the videos, with all the audios, with all the demos of how to get your account going and started. So a lot of people have been able to use that site to be able to get their accounts going, get their main account, get their left account, right account, get funded, all that good stuff. That's pretty much how I learned as well. But I also can learn with hands-on. And so this is what today's call is going to be about, hands-on. Now, all the information won't be straight from sharing my screen, because some of the activities I don't necessarily need to do on my phone or on my account. So I want to share with it as much as possible. Now, for those that we have personally enrolled, then you do have access to us. If we trained on it, we're not going to train on it again, like Mr. Bean said. However, we will, if you've come across a hiccup or whatnot, we will be able to guide you through that. Now, in the event that you don't have a senior partner that's plugged in, then I'm sure you'll find your way to us some way, somehow, because we're working with a lot of people, not a lot, we're working with a handful of people that their senior partner is no longer wanting to participate in 𝐍𝐿 or just want to sit back and take advantage of the royalties and don't want to become that leader no more. But that's okay. That's what we're here for. We're very hands-on, Mr. Bean and myself. And we are working with those that want to advance in 𝐍𝐿. So this aspect of what I'm going to share with you today is going to be strictly 𝐍𝐿. So if you have any questions, type in question in all caps, put it in the chat. I may not be able to answer all the questions because I'm not completely the expert, but we will make sure that you will get that information and back to you, or we'll answer that question in the event that we don't have that answer to it. Okay. So when you log into 𝐍𝐿, you must log in with a VPN. Okay. I personally use IPVanish. I pay for it. I don't know what I pay for because I've had it for quite some time. But the membership that I have, I'm able to log on any phone, any computer simultaneously. As a matter of fact, when I travel to different countries and I take our boys with us and they have to do schoolwork, guess what? We have to use this IPVanish VPN to log in, because otherwise they can't log into their school accounts unless we're in state of Texas, Houston specifically. But I use the VPN for multiple things. So I invest in IPVanish. Again, I don't know how much it costs. Go to the site, take a look at it. There's a lot of VPNs out there that are freebies. I don't necessarily like the freebies because you're limited to certain aspects of it. So I like full access to and options. I love options. So therefore I use the IPVanish. I don't get any residuals for that. That's not a commercial. That's just what I use. Okay. To log into your 𝐍𝐿 account, you go to app.𝐍𝐿.AI. Now, this is a link that you want to save in your books, in your favorites, bookmark it, because you want to be able to quickly go to it instead of having to locate it or memorize it. I memorize a lot of things, so therefore this is one less thing that I have to memorize if I save it in my favorites. So app.𝐍𝐿.AI. Some do .com, some do whatever else. It will not work. Make sure it's .ai. Now, when you are signing in, I would suggest, and I did not know this, my multiple accounts, I've created separate passwords, separate email addresses. It gets complicated. So if you're creating multiple accounts, such as, say, for instance, position 1, which is your main position, your left position and your right position, those are considered multiple accounts. Feel free to use the same password. Your login, your username is different, but you could still use the same password and the same email address. Okay. As you go on into logging in and signing in and doing different transactions, you will have to have a 2FA, which is two-factor authentication code. It's a secondary verification. It's like keying in your password twice, for instance. So download Google Authenticator. There are other verifications, 2FAs that are out there. I love to use Google Authenticator. It's very simple, it's easy to use, and it's pretty accurate. So go ahead and tell your new person to go ahead and download the Google Authenticator. Feel free to screenshot this. I will put the PDF with Mr. Bean's approval into the chat group in the event that you will, need this for later referencing. Okay, so once your sponsor sends you their link has their username in it. So once you click the link, now mind you, make sure your VPN is on or their VPN is on. They click on the link, they will come to a screen that says create account. Okay. In the first tab, your sponsor's name will be there. Okay. I blacked it out. And I want you to know that whatever that link is, because I don't want anyone to use my link to try to log in while they're listening or watching this call. So the sponsor's username will always be on top. So say, for instance, Dr. George, if you sent this link to Tim Lambert clicks on the link, your name will be right there on top. Enter your username. This will then be your special name that you will create. I won't suggest that you make it a long name because you're going to have to type it in every time, or, you know, when you switch devices, you'll have to log it in. But just make it simple. It's your username for you to log in. Now, if you're in the US of A, L Green is not accessible in US of A. Okay. People might ask, well, why not? Okay. Living in the United States and creating a book of business in the United States, it's like 50 different countries in one nation, because there's different rules, different regulations in every single state, and it's different each day because it changes. So therefore, L Green opts to not do business in the United States. Now, the workaround would be the VPN. So for those that say, hey, why do we have to use a VPN? Those are only for those that are in the United States. I work with some people that are in the Bahamas. I work with some people that are in Mexico. And I work with some people in Jamaica and different other countries. They don't have to use a VPN. This is only for United States. So the phone country, which is the country code. When I enrolled, they changed it to they had USA. I noticed that they no longer have USA. So in the event that they don't have USA while you're logging in, or whoever's registering, choose Canada. Okay. +1 is the code in United States. So Canada is also +1 code. Enter in your phone number, your email, confirm your email. You will get an email to your email address. You would log in to your email, confirm it. So that's just FYI, those some extra steps that you would have to do. I'm going through this thoroughly because some people get stuck right here, believe it or not, because they don't do that verification. And once again, once they get stuck, it's like, oh, well, let me send a message to XYZ, but XYZ maybe it's New Year's, they're partying. Who knows? They can't get to you right away. So then what happens? Confused person does nothing. So now they're at standstill. So they're not going to be able to move forward. Okay. Once you've registered and you've logged in, then you go to your dashboard and go under my account. Okay. This is what I'm going to go through. So I'm going to leave this screen up. I'm going to leave it up on my computer, I should say. And I'm going to log in on my phone and then share screen. Bear with me, guys. I'm working on this Android over here. Yes, I did say I'm working on an Android. I still have my iPhone though. Let's see. Okay, let's see. There we go. Start now. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's start all the way over. Okay, so I have automatic login. Okay, so what I want you to do is, well, what I want you to look at is go under my account. Uh-oh, my fat fingers. Okay, go. My account. There you go. When you go under my account, that first white tab, it's going to say enable auto renewal. Okay. Mine says disable because I've already enabled it. Okay. You want to enable your auto renew is because once your account gets to a certain level at capacity, then it either will stop if you don't have it on renewal, and you won't get paid your daily returns, your daily royalties. But if you turn on your auto renewal, then that means it will continue auto renewing your contract. Okay. When it comes to 𝐍𝐓, try to stay away from the word investment and ROIs. You want to say royalties. You want to replace returns with royalties or ROIs with royalties. You want to replace the word investment with contracts. And so that way it keeps the company legal. Okay. So always make sure that all of your team members turn on auto renewal. Okay. And moving on further down, some people say, okay, ID number, what should I put there? Okay. So FYI, many people that I've started working with, I noticed that this segment is not filled out. No, there is not a KYC. KYC is know your customer. Currently, as of January 2024, there is not a KYC. However, this part does need to be filled out, and it is simpler to get your 2FA verification through when this is filled out. When it's not filled out, I noticed that we come across hiccups. Okay. So what is this ID number? Well, it's my driver's license number, and you can put in your driver's license number. However, I have transposed some of the characters. Why? I don't know. It just makes me feel good that my whole driver's license number is not in there. So my ID number is my driver's license number, but it is transposed. My email address, my first name, you could put in your full name or you could just abbreviate it. I abbreviated that. My date of birth, my gender. And then if you notice phone number, it's under Canada. And then it's my legitimate phone number. Okay. My number's there, but guys, please don't blow up my phone. And so then my address, and I have my actual address, but in the country, if you notice in the country, I also put Canada. Okay. And so that's the part that I wanted to share from this screen here. Let's go back to, you know what I'm going to do? I'll just go ahead and share from here. Also, what I want you to do is I want you to go to, I'm going to binary tree. Is my Zoom still sharing?
Yes, it is.
Is sharing my phone?
We're sharing. I see the 𝐍𝐓 back to the top, back to the top.
Perfect. Okay, so here. Okay, at the top it shows 𝐍𝐓, and that's my main position. Okay. Before I do that, bear with me here. Let me just do this. Okay. So we just came from this screen right here, and the address, again, the country's Canada, binary key. On the actual dashboard page, it will show the binary key, the left side, the right side, and automatic. Okay. Get with the person that enrolled you to see whether you need to put your next person in on the left or on the right. Never choose automatic. Automatic means the system will automatically enroll that person for you, depending on whether you need the volume on the left or the right. Now, typically when you first get started, you don't know who's going to build. You don't know who's really going to sit there and take advantage of the royalties. So you just want to start with put placement, one on the left, one on the right, one on the left, one on the right. Like Mr. Bean says, put them in like you walk. One on the left, one on the right. Okay. Now on that same page under my account, under the binary key, you will also see referral URL. That will be your referral link that you would provide to the person that you want to share this opportunity with. Okay. That would be your referral link. All that is under the dashboard under my account. Okay. Okay. So then here on this page here, there are a multitude of packs. You could start off with a $25 pack all the way to the $50,000 pack. Okay. Now the $25 pack does not allow you to get qualified for the volume. So you cannot store volume on the $25 packs. Well, Kim, why do we have to purchase a main pack and then a $25 pack on the left and a $25 pack on the right? It's for qualification purposes, okay? It's a criteria that you will need to make certain that you continue to take advantage of your royalties. It's no different than the company requiring you to personally enroll a person on the left and a person on the right. Now, if that person that you enroll on the left and on the right says, hey, you know what? I don't want to do it anymore. I just, I want to take all my money out and I quit. Or maybe they don't know and they say, hey, you know what? I take all my money out. I didn't realize I was going to stop getting paid. Well, what happens is your main position will no longer be qualified. Just a simple mistake. Maybe that person isn't plugged in. Maybe they don't listen to Millionaire Mindset calls. Maybe they're not going to listen to this training call. Well, what happens is when you position yourself with a $25 pack on the left, a $25 on the right, the company says, you're now qualified. Guess what? You don't have to do anything else to this $25 position if you don't want to. But it's your position. Okay. Mr. Bean will go more into depth about that, but that is the pack that you will start off with on your left and on your right. But your main pack, you want to at least get in on 50 or above. Honestly, anybody that I enroll will not get in on less than $100. Okay. Because you're receiving on a $100 pack, $1 a day. Okay. On that pack. So you're going to slowly see your royalties add up, but the higher the package, the quicker you'll be able to see your royalties. But on top of that, people are going to get started the way you get started. So they're going to ask you, hey, Jeremy, how'd you get started? Oh, well, I got started on a $5,000 pack. Okay, well, if you believe that big, I will too. That's the type of dialogue conversation that you'll have. But you get in where you fit in. Okay. So if budget says $100, go for the $100, but make certain you have 150. So that way you have 100 in your main position, 25 on your left, 25 on your right. If Jeremy says I'm getting started with 5,000, Jeremy gets started with 5,000, but then he'll also still put $25 on the left and $25 on the right. Got it? Okay, good deal. Thumbs up if you got it. Awesome. Okay, so buy packages. This one is for those individuals that say, hey, I watched the video, I still don't get it. This is just a breakdown of it. Now, if you go to that link tree that I shared with you, I forget what it was, 𝐿green something, 𝐿green.ai. You go there, you will see those videos. The videos are there. But when you go to the buy balance tab, I don't want to bore you with everything. So feel free to take a screenshot of this here. There you go. I expanded it. When you purchase the package, you go to the buy balance tab and that it'll look like this. Okay. Then from there, you would choose what package that you want to purchase. So once you click on buy now you see here, it says Bitcoin BTC. Now, at one point in time, you could use BEP20, USDT BEP20. You can no longer use USDT BEP20. Your options are BTC, USDT ERC20, and USDT TRC20. Okay, ERC20 is on the Ethereum network. TRC20 is on the Tron network. Now, utilizing USDT, the fees are much lower, and you don't have to concern yourself about the fluctuation of the market. Now, when you send BTC, Bitcoin, bank on the fact that you will have to put in an additional $10 to $15 extra depending on the amount. Now, if it's a larger lump sum, send about $15, $20. I would rather send the extra than it get lost in limbo. But anytime you send BTC, always send extra. Mass majority of the time when somebody reaches out to me and say, hey, my money's not showing up, my first question is, what is the amount you send? If Jeremy says, hey, I sent 5,000, I said, you didn't send enough because number one, the fluctuation of BTC goes up and down. Number two, you didn't send enough to cover the fees. Well, how much are the fees, Kim? I can't exactly tell you because every platform is different. You would have to reference Exodus. You would have to reference Trust, or if you're sending it through Cash App, which I don't recommend, but whatever platform that your sending wallet that you're using, you would have to reference that. Typically it's about $10, $15, but you would have to cover those fees. That would be the main reason why your funds don't show up. That, or you're not using the right address. Okay, so always make certain that your token is the proper token that you requested and your networks are the same. Okay, so then once you let's see here. Yep. So you go to your buy balance amount. Once you've clicked on the package, you go to your buy balance tab. You enter in the amount. Say for instance, in Jeremy's case, he would enter in 5,000. He would go to his sending wallet. Say for instance, all his money is in his Exodus wallet. He then will send, let's say he doesn't want to deal with Bitcoin. He wants to send it in USDT ERC20. He has to make sure he has Ethereum in his Exodus wallet because Ethereum is the native coin, the main coin that he will need to cover the gas fees. Okay. I'm not going to go all into depth about this because this is a different type of training. But for the logistics of keeping it simple, he'll transfer that USDT. He's sending USDT. I will send maybe $5,005 or $5,010 because it's USDT. There's not a huge fluctuation in the market. Now, if he says, you know what, I have it in Bitcoin, let me send it in Bitcoin. I would tell Jeremy, you're sending 5,000, send about $515, $520 to cover the fees to make certain that transaction goes through smoothly. Okay. Now, also keeping in mind, in the event your money gets lost in the sauce, look for a transaction hash, not the wallet ID, not the sending wallet ID, not the wallet ID that the money is going to, the receiving. It's called a transaction hash. So like say, for instance, if you get a receipt at the grocery store, it tells you what receipt number it is, but then it also may have like a confirmation code. It may have a date on it. You want to look for the actual receipt number. So in our case, when it comes to crypto and transaction, you want to look for a transaction hash. It looks like a wallet ID address, but it's not. You may have to tap on the actual transaction a few times to look into where the transaction hash is. That is what we'll need to confirm that transaction going through. Okay. So you could either copy and paste that wallet address, paste it into your sending wallet, because now your sending wallet is now going to send it to the address that's been given to you, which is 𝐍𝐿 account. So the money is not being transactioned from person to person. Jeremy is not sending me that money. Jeremy is sending that money to the address on file on the account, which is the 𝐍𝐿 account. Once he sends that money over there, depending on BTC, depending on USDT, it may take 5, 10, 15, maybe even an hour, depending on the blockchain. That has nothing to do with him. It has nothing to do with 𝐍𝐿. It has everything to do with the blockchain verification. Okay. Once he sends that money over, he'll take that the order number. He'll paste it into the invoice code. Once he pastes into the invoice code, that's when he'll wait for that payment to show up into the buy balance account, the buy balance tab. Okay. When you're looking to purchase the package, I think I did that reverse. The buy package, you click on the pack order, you go to the orders, you copy the order number, go to pay invoice, paste that order number into the invoice code, enter your username, click invoice, and then your 2FA verification. Okay. That was supposed to be on top and the buy balance be on bottom. Okay. Okay. Once you've already purchased your package, this is what I was referencing earlier. You will have a main position, a position on the left, and then a position on the right. When you're naming your position, keep it simple. I'm not saying make it ABC main, but just keep it simple. It could be, you know, BP or BPITS main. And then to the left, ABC or BPITS L. L is for left. On the right side, label it BPITS R. R is for the right side. Now, keeping in mind the left side and the right side has to be $25 minimum. If you go through your binary tree, the tab that says binary tree, and you're going through your binary trees, and you could click on each one to show the one underneath it. If you look at an account and it says the package amount, and then you see another package amount, and then you see another package, maybe this package is purple, that means it's $100. And then you see a package over here that's black. Black means it's $25. That means that person didn't set up the account correctly. Remember when I shared with you that binary key right over here? They didn't set it to the left. They didn't set it to the right. So once you put your main position in, you copy the referral link, then underneath it, you change it either to the left or to the right to purchase your position for left and right. Make sense? Kind of, sort of, maybe. This if you're confused. Okay. So that is how your binary tree should look. And as you go through your binary tree, this is how it should look. I went through an account and it was quite chaotic. There was different color packages everywhere, and I had to go clean it up. And because you don't know who's going to come in and say, hey, you know what? I'm going to build and grow this business. Well, they need to make sure that they have their secured spots. And so it's better to do it right the first time than have to go back and fix it or have to go back. And it took me altogether maybe a full 24 hours combined to get it all fixed, and then to even process it and see if it was even able to get fixed. So just make sure you go through this and maintenance the accounts. Now, you may see some people that were dropped into your lineage. You might not know that person. You will not be able to reach out to that person. Consider that a what I consider a kiss. It's just somebody dropped some volume into your lineage. Take advantage of it, okay? But you will not be able to reach out to that person per se because somebody else enrolled them, okay? Let's talk about upgrading packages. And then from here, we should wrap it up shortly. Upgrading packages. Let's say, okay, I got started initially at a $2,500 pack, and my royalties added up, my commissions added up from team building, and I had enough volume. I'm about to reach 200%. So I said, you know what? I want to be able to use the money that I've already earned and upgrade. So this is what how you would take advantage of it. You would go to the transfers tab. You would enter in the amount, and it's very, very simple, guys. You enter in the amount, and keeping in mind, if it's 2,500 that's in your balance available, 𝐍�絵will take 6% of the fee. That's very minimal. So 6% of the fee. So keeping that in mind, you press submit, you put your password in, you do your 2FA verification, then you go to your buy balance, and then you check your funds. Once the funds show up, you proceed with the instructions of purchasing your package. Okay. When you purchase your package, it will show you the difference. So if let's see here, if your account is, say, for instance, so like my package, I'm at a $10,000 package. So my upgrade package would be 25,000. So I don't have to pay the full 25,000 all over again. I would pay the 10,000 that I would deduct the 10,000 package that I'm already on, and then we'll pay the difference, which would be 15,000. Which my 10,000 plus the upgrade of 15,000, that equates to 25,000. And so that you're not paying the full amount, you're only paying the difference. And you'll see that once you click on the buy package tab. So if you were on, like, say, for instance, the 5,000 5,000 package, and you're looking to upgrade to 10,000, you're only paying a 5,000 difference as long as you've accumulated enough funds in your balance available to do so. Okay. Now, for those that say, hey, you know what? I have money in my in my available balance, and I want to use the transfer function, but I don't have enough. Or say, for instance, they took out the 6%, and you might be missing maybe 200 or 300, and you need to top off that difference. You would still transfer the amount that you have in your available balance. You would transfer that amount. You'll go through the same process. And then you would top up the difference by going to your buy tab. You enter in the amount, and then this is the same step that you will use when you purchase a package initially. Okay. Jeremy, are you raising your hand because you have a question, or are you just saying hi to somebody?
Yeah, I had a question.
Okay, bear with me. Let me finish this up.
Okay.
Put it in the chat. Can you type it in the chat?
Well, it had to do with when you was you talking about upgrading the package when you was using the transfer tab?
Okay, can you type it in the chat?
Yes.
Okay, cool beans. Okay, so then you back up. Okay, so transfer tab. Once you've gone to your transfer tab, you enter in the amount, you submit they take out the 6%, you submit it, that goes into your buy tab. Okay. Now that tab, you now see the amount sitting in there, but let's say you don't have enough. You need to top it off, and you have your money in Exodus. So what you would do then is right underneath it, you'll see the buy balance. You then will enter in the amount that you need to top off to amount to the actual package that you need to purchase. So say, for instance, you have 2,000 in your transfer, you transferred it, you now have 2,000. The difference of the package is, for instance, 2,500 that you need to top off. Well, if your money is sitting in Exodus, you then send your $2,500 over to your 𝐍�絵account by following the same exact steps. Okay, you could either use the QR code or you could use the destination wallet address by copying it and pasting it. Once that's done, you would go to your order number. That order number it has a hashtag at the top. That would be your order number. Copy that order number and paste it into your invoice code. Once you paste it into your invoice code, all you simply do is wait for that payment to show up in your buy balance. So that buy balance amount plus that transfer amount should be the total to purchase or upgrade your package. Okay, let's see. I think there's an easier way to use your balance to upgrade without the fee. That 6% fee, when you take it out, that 6% fee is for it to go back to 𝐍𝐓. So there's not a way to avoid that 6%. It still stays within that wallet. That's actually how 𝐍𝐓 is able to maintain and function with that. Now, there is a way for you to, if you're referencing a way to send money to another wallet address, that 6% will still apply. Okay. Okay, let me continue on because I don't want to go to because I know there's some other feedbacks on there. Until I get it verified, Jeremy, I don't want to get into that right now. Okay. So until then, let me verify that first. Okay. But as far as now, I know that the 6% is for the company fee. Okay. So let me do a couple of Q&A that I've had thus far. What crypto is used to purchase the pack? As of January 2024, I talked about that, which is BTC, USDT TRC20, USDT ERC20, and USDT BEP20 is no longer available. Okay. So I don't know what happened there, but it's just no longer available. So make sure that you preference that to make sure that you tell them either BTC, USDT TRC20, or ERC20. Keeping in mind, again, BTC, send extra funds to cover the fees. Okay. I covered this as well. Why did my funds for my package show up in my account? Well, more than likely it's because you didn't send enough to cover the fees. Now, when you're sending crypto, make sure to send the extra to cover the fees and the fluctuation of the Bitcoin and the market. Okay. How much extra should I send to cover the fees? Again, it all depends on the platform that the person is sending it from. Okay. And also, the moment you receive that QR code and the moment that you actually send the transaction, that also varies as well, because again, the fluctuation of the market. There we go. Okay. I put this into the group chats today. For those that are privy, the leaders that are privy to be into a communication with support, this is how you want to format your messages. Keep it simple, keep it short, and keep it to the point. For those that haven't reached the leadership level to have access to this support, make certain you still follow this format so that way you'll send it to your senior partner. They in return will get access to us, or we would have access to getting that information or the request and putting into the support chat group. Okay. But this is the information that we will need. Say, for instance, if you want to replace the email, maybe somebody transposed a letter in their email address. You place the old email address and then you put the new email address, but keep it very simple and to the point. The support that we have access to, come to find out, not everybody has this support group. How we became blessed and have access to a support team that works solely on our behalf, strictly our team only, consider that a privilege. So we want to take full advantage of it, but we don't want to take advantage of them. Let's say that. So they are Brazilian, and so sometimes there's a language barrier. So if we keep it as simple as possible, short, brief, and to the point, we'll be able to communicate much quicker and faster. If you're long-winded, condense that information condense that information to where it's just short and to the point, because all the in between, they may get confused. Okay. But yeah, just keep it very simple and to the point. No screenshots. And if you screenshot, still copy and paste the actual wallet address or copy and paste the email address, because if you send a screenshot, they're going to have to type it in, and you're more than likely the letters may be transposed again. So they're not going to do that. So make certain that you copy it, so that way they too could copy and paste and then search it from there. Okay. All right. Okay. If you haven't followed us, this is a great opportunity. Go ahead and follow us, the Foresight family. There's a Telegram page, Lance Green, Foresight Royalties. WhatsApp page, Lance Green, Foresight Royalties. I think I just changed the WhatsApp name to this today, in that order. And then our Facebook page, Foresight and L Green Collab Royalty Contracts. So make certain that everybody is following. Sometimes you have to go in and send a link to invite the individual to the group. They may not be able to locate it. So make sure your team are invited to these pages. I was listening to a conversation that the Mr. was having earlier today. It's so much, and it's so true. It's so much easier for the system to work its way through people and connect with people than you having to go back and re-explain what's going on with the system, what's going on with the with the project, or any updates that goes on. They could listen to the call, they could listen to a third party, and you could then go in and co-sign and says, yes, exactly. That's exactly what I was referencing. That's what I was talking about. So make certain that everybody is plugged in here. Okay, a couple of tips. Tip 1, don't withdraw your contract amount. If you do, put the funds back before reaching 200%. So say, for instance, I put in $2,500. I've met my $2,500 contract, and maybe I've exceeded my contract, and I'm like maybe at $4,000. And so I go ahead and take out the $2,500 that I put in, plus the other additional $1,500. So I take out my full $4,000. Now my contract shows 0. If I reach 200%, my account is no longer active. So if I put $2,500 in, make certain that you at least keep that $2,500 contract amount in your balance, so that way it could always auto renew. Okay. If you don't have that contract amount, it cannot auto renew a 0 balance. Make sense? Tip number 2, always keep your auto renew on. So we covered auto renew and how to turn it on. So make certain that you always go in, and that's the first thing that a person should do, is turn on auto renew, go through the profile, check and balance, make certain that all the addresses is up to date. The Canada is showing if you're in the United States. Make certain that they have a person on the left, a person on the right. Just follow up with them to make certain that everything is up to par. Tip number 3, the 3 positions, verify those positions. Tip number 4, send an extra $10 to $15 extra in Bitcoin if you're sending Bitcoin. Okay. Those are some of the tips that I have. And let's see if we have any. Okay. Okay, got it, Jeremy. I see your message. Well, there's a lot of messages there. Okay, Rose, is there any gas fee for transfer upgrade. There's no fees for the upgrade within the system. The fees come from another platform into 𝐍𝐓. But to upgrade within the system, there's no fees linked to that. Okay, there's only gas fees when you're sending money from your sending wallet into the receiving wallet. So the only fee to my knowledge is the 6% fee when you're withdrawing your funds. Okay. All right. Okay, Mr. Bean, I believe my job is done. I don't see any questions. Per Mr. Bean, we will have Q&A. So, okay. Oh, hold on, bear with me. Let's see. Some questions are coming in. If you want to join back on the call, Mr. Bean.
Sure. And Carly as well. That way Carly can help us find any questions that we may have.
Okay. Meanwhile, I see a question from Miss Beverly Pitts. Question: I have an amount in the buy balance tab. Earlier in the process of learning, I think I sent it there in error. What can I do with that amount now? Let me take a look at your account individually, Beverly. But if the money is in the balance tab, you could do an upgrade or you could withdraw, if I'm thinking of the same thing that you're referencing. But I could take a look at your account because I know you had some other questions too. And I don't know if I answered it today, but I don't mind working with you through that process. But I don't mind working. Okay, and then we have question with Earl LaSalle. Hey there, Earl. Let's see. How many days grace is there if you hit 200% but don't have the balance to renew? Okay, so in Earl's question is here, like say for instance, tip number 1, I put don't withdraw your contract amount. If you do, put funds back before reaching the 2%. So his question is piggybacking on that. In the event that the money is taken out and you're reached 200% or you're close to it, or let's say you reach 200%, I was told earlier in us getting involved in the project, it was 7 days. But recently I was told 72 hours.
But most importantly, guys, don't think in terms of grace period. Because what happens is when you think in terms of grace period, you put yourself in a position where you sleep on it. And I literally was in a position where I caught on to it. You know, when we first got started, I was pulling my money out every day, all of it. And because I misunderstood the 200% situation and the contract renewal situation. So I had to put $4,000 back in. And I think I was at 199% at that point in time. So I got mine back in time. You have people who their accounts were blown right away, and we ended up having to jump on with corporate and see if they can revive them. And most of them, because it was probably a day or two within that window, they were able to. Some people who were not paying attention to their accounts unless they were just taking money out, they were not able to and had to open up new positions. And so again, we want to make sure, because we have a lot of people out there who are not advised properly of this and who are not plugging in. And this is why we, again, really want to make sure that you don't become customer service by making sure that everybody who you talk to immediately let them know about the automatic renew, let them know about keeping these amounts in those wallets. This conversation today is basically for people who are in today and who may have blown an account yesterday or the day before yesterday, and we could probably help those people. But going forward, guys, again, we want to make sure that we don't put a lot of pressure on the customer service. We are the front line to it. We want to make sure we do our part, but don't think in terms of a window, in case somebody blows their account. Think in terms of getting ahead of it. But if it happens, immediately contact your leader and put the information in, as Mrs. Bean showed, those two tips on how to actually set up a message to send the support. get it to us right away and we'll get it right over. Another thing also, when it goes to, like Mrs. Bean was saying earlier, I want to make sure you guys understand the two positions, the $25 positions, the way their system is set up is not set up like a traditional binary where if you have 7 or 8 people, that you personally sponsored and you have 3 on the left and 4 on the right, and one drops out, you still have 2 more on the left, or one drops out on the right, you still have 3 more on the right. And it protects that position. In this structure, please understand this, it doesn't work that way. Your very 2 first positions, if any one of those positions go inactive, there is no window of getting it back. If a person misses that payment, or they go inactive, or somebody quits or whatever, and they pull out the full 200%, then you will lose the ability to make money in that binary. That's why it's very, very important to have those 2 positions at $25. Now, we had a situation where one of our elite, gung-ho people took it upon herself to go ahead and log in before I gave the green light, and she created a $2,500 position in one of my very first positions. So I ended up having to give her back the $2,500 and have corporate go in and change all of her information to mine, just to make sure that those first 2 positions did not go anywhere. So I have a $5,000 position. I started with a $5,000 position and a $2,500 position and a $25 position. Again, you don't want to, make mistakes in situations, because remember, mistakes that you make here will cost you tens of thousands of dollars, just like with any other company, any other business. But when you're dealing with these type of platforms and passive platforms, the more mistakes you make, the more money it'll cost you. Okay, so make sure that for those of you who are launching people, some of you guys I talked to earlier today, you have people who already have 5, 6, 7 people that are ready to come in. Okay, 1 person at a time. Main position, 2 sub position. Main position, 2 sub positions. And you just continue to do it one at a time. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't move too fast. Double check your work as if you was about to turn in for a final exam at school. This is very, very important. So again, this is why, again, when you're dealing with people's money, right, and you have people who are coming in that get these contracts, remember, it may be their fault that they make that mistake, but again, you can contribute to that by not being on your job, by not being the leader, by not putting them in a position where you walk them through it, or even having them come back to a training like this, once they watch the actual videos as well. So the Linktree videos, like some of those videos that you guys have that are very, very important, it's some videos that I will watch with that person on a Zoom just to make sure that they saw it, just to make sure they understand it, and make sure I've been able to break it down. You don't have to break it down like me. You have videos for that. You have to break it down like Mrs. Bean. You have to break it down like Angel or people who are Earl LaSalle or Earl Beckett. You have videos for that. So what Mrs. Bean has done here tonight is taking everything that's on videos and put it to another level where you can actually understand it, you can grasp it, and now you can go out there and move forward fastly, because confused people do absolutely nothing. But we've had people who are in other countries who have no direct leadership in those countries, just follow the videos and they get it knocked out. But you have to be present when you're watching these videos, guys. These videos are 90 minutes, 2 minutes max in most cases. Be present, turn everything off, pay good close attention, and don't be afraid to watch those videos 3 or 4 or 5 times, because I know I do. And if I do it and I'm plugged in, trust me, you should do it as well. So I'll turn it back over to you, Ms. Bean, or Carl, if you have any other questions that you see that we can actually address. And I know Earl didn't ask that question for him. I know he asked it in general, because what you guys see us teach on, these questions that you see us answering, these are things that we see a lot. And all these things that we have are avoidable. Something as simple as just the email, information transpose, processing of information. Again, that can again cost money, to the company, cost money to us, cost money to you, just because everybody has to stop everything that they're doing to go back in and now focus and invest time in something that we could have avoided.
Mr. Bean, I see a question from Dale. He says, what happens if you do not send enough BTC or USDT initially?
Oh yeah, Ms. Bean already covered that part. Basically, you send more. And again, that's when it costs you more money because you didn't send enough to begin with. Always get, and like I said, always send more than enough. It's no problem. Like I said, always send more than enough so you won't have a problem. It's better to have excess in the system than having to pay fees 2 or 3 times to try to get it right because you're trying to get it on the dot, trying to get it perfect. Again, try to get it over, not try to get it on the dot.
In addition to that, sir, is even if you're like missing like $5 or $10, the minimum amount that you have to send over, the minimum in the system is 50. So then now what he just shared with you is that now you're spending way more. So I would venture to go ahead and send that extra 15, $10 to $15 or even 20, depending on the amount that you're sending over. Go ahead and send that extra instead of having to be a nervous wreck, not knowing where your funds are at, and having for them to locate the monies as well.
Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Bean. I see a question from Carla. She asks, please confirm if you are able or have the information, the number of times an account can auto renew.
Unlimited.
Okay, thank you. That's all the questions I see.
All right.
Oh, wait, I'm sorry. One just popped up just as I literally said that. Someone asked, what happens when you have reached 200% on your account and you don't have enough in your account for the 6%? Would you still auto renew?
Well, it won't charge you 6% to auto renew. Because you're not pulling anything out. Basically, it's just on automatically auto renew when it hits 200%. That's why you want to make sure you, but again, this is where you, for me, when I look at available amount and I look at, when I look at the percentage available as well, I want to make sure that those two numbers add up to over 100%. Okay. And so, because that 100% is what you need in that account to auto renew. So I make sure that it's 105, 110 or something like that. I don't do minimals because, if you do a minimal and something happens, it'll cost you the maximum. And that headache is not worth it. That extra money and the stress is not worth it. I've had people who have had to wait, 3 or 4 days to actually put people in because of the mistake that they made, and they end up losing one of the 3 people based on them not being able to get the person in time when the person was excited. And so again, it's just about us being professionals. Remember, it's none of us are perfect, but we all have the ability to be professionals. We all have the ability to strive for excellence and just do our part.
Thank you, sir. I see a question from Tina. She says, is there any way in the process of moving it around that you lose your money?
Of moving it around, like, what do you mean?
I'll answer that question, Tina. Yes, you can lose your money when you're dealing with crypto. If you move it into the wrong wallet, yes, you could lose your money. If you send it to the wrong chain, you could lose your money. Okay, so that's why you want to make certain that I's are dotted, T's are crossed. Now, if you're moving the money around within the 𝐍𝐓 system, there's really not much to move around outside of transferring it from the transfer tab to the buy balance tab. So the funds will always be there. The question I will look into is part of Beverly Pitt's question is, once it's in the buy balance, are we able to, withdraw it or move it out? I just looked into the system to see if we're able to withdraw it. That money isn't accumulated into the buy balance, so I will look into that. But moving it around from wallet to wallet, absolutely. like say for instance, if it was transferred from Exodus, from Bitcoin to a USDT wallet, yes, you could get lost. So you want to be very cognizant. And the crypto space, you've heard, well, you're new to the platform, but I've said it before. The crypto space is a very unforgiving space. Once you screw up, even if you transposed a character of the wallet address, you're kind of screwed. So I had one individual, someone shared with me, somebody I didn't work personally, but she transferred something in the scenario. She transferred it from one wallet to another wallet, and it wasn't on the same network, and it was $2,500.
Yeah.
Nothing we could do. So it's things like that. You just don't want, I mean, unless you have money to just kind of play around with, and try to see how it works. I don't recommend just playing around with it until you really know the system and know what's going on and how to do the transfer. I always, as well, a tip, I transfer a small amount. I transfer like maybe about $15, $20 first to make certain that it goes through. Once it goes through and it shows up, then I'm like, okay, well, it's the right wallet. Let me go ahead and send the rest. But when something I want to add in. When it comes to 𝐍𝐓 and you're purchasing a package, say for instance, you want to purchase a $10,000 package, you can't piece it together. Meaning I have 5,000 in Exodus, I have 2,500 in Trust, and I have another 2,500 in Cash App. I create an invoice in 𝐍𝐓 for 10,000, and I send 5,000 from Exodus, 2,500 from Trust, and 2,500 from Cash App. It doesn't work that way. You have to put it all in one wallet and send it over to 𝐍𝐓. Okay, it's no different than going to the grocery store and they're telling you, or going online and purchasing something online. They don't allow you to use multiple credit cards. You have to use one credit card, one transaction. Same thing with 𝐍𝐓. When you create an invoice, it needs to come from one wallet. It's much simpler, easier to track. Again, what Mr. Bean, piggyback on what Mr. Bean said, we are customer service. We have to handle that first. And then our support is our next tier to be able to assist us. But I wanted to add that in too. I forgot to share earlier. Back at you, Mr. Bean.
And you can stop sharing your screen as well. And as far as the PDF, you can put the PDF in the leadership group at some point.
Okay.
Do we have anything else, Carla?
Yes, sir. I see a question from Tim. He asked, when you send the additional example of $10 or $15 worth of Bitcoin or USDT, is the excess put in your buy balance or sent back to you?
No, you don't get no excess back. It's sent on over. And going into, you would always see, like, if you're not sending enough, when you go into the blockchain and you look into the transaction, you will see how much money is transferred to the receiving end. And that's how you know not enough money was sent. So once you send the difference, your money will be sitting in limbo. Your money will be sitting in limbo because they don't know where to put it, because you requested for an invoice of 5,000. But if they received $4,975, well, there might be a whole lot of $4,975 sitting in limbo. They don't know who's who, so they can't allocate it to anywhere. Therefore, they need that transaction hash. And then when you send the difference, then we need to know the amount that you sent, the difference, as well as that transaction hash. So that way they could put those two transaction hash together, and then they have to manually approve it on their end. It takes some manpower. So to prevent it, go through the tips that we went through today.
For sure. And one thing I would suggest everybody do, guys, again, a lot of people are not here tonight. And again, that's just how it is. But I would definitely say tag everybody that you can in here. And Carly or Lashnique or, Dr. Arlene, somebody, go ahead and put the Linktree link in there as well, so they can have access to it, even though we have it in everything that we do. We want to
Jerry, put it in. If you could add it, if you, Jeremy, you put it in earlier. If you could add it again.
Perfect. Awesome.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep. And so when it comes to when it's all said and done, guys, again, just making sure that you go through the Linktree videos, familiarize yourself with it. You don't have to have something actually happen for you to be, in a position to get an understanding. Okay. Especially when you are, thank you, Jeremy, especially when you are planning on enrolling people, you should know a lot more, than the person who you're enrolling. A lot of times we're babies having babies. And again, just like my wife watched Super Nanny before she was pregnant with my first son. This is your super nanny for your business. This is your baby. This is your investment. This is your money. Again, be on purpose, when it comes to creating your wealth, guys. Being rich is not accidental, guys. Again, you got to be on purpose. Okay. Let's just make sure we're professionals in 2024. You got to be different in order for things in order for you to have things happen in your bank accounts differently. Right? And it starts again with being professional. Also, the more questions that you can answer, or more insight that you have via conversation when you're having with people, it puts them more at ease, when you're talking to one of your prospects, and it really puts them in a position to say, you know what, Dale is he's pretty educated about this stuff, or you know what, I see Dale is learning this stuff. He may not know everything about it, but at least he's applying himself, and that's, you're teaching your people how to behave. Remember, failure and success are learned behaviors. Okay? When you're around successful people, you learn how to behave. You learn how to be successful. When you're around people who fail at everything, you learn how to fail based on behaviors. And so remember, just like if your kids run out in the streets and they're using profanity, we know where they got it from, right? It's the same thing. So somebody's running out in the streets, one of your people run out of these streets and they're pitching, El Green to somebody, and they're showing people, hey, look, we're doing 1% a day, 26 days a month, and you got packets that you can come in all the way up to 50 grand, and you got people who are making 60,000 a month, $120,000 a month, and you've been able to have these conversations with these people. That's when they get excited, because they can see your energy, they can see your involvement, they can see your excitement as well. So again, just help us help you. Okay, help us help you. Any other questions, Carly, that you have?
Yes, sir. I see one from Rose. She says, if I have $1,000 contract with 1,800 and I'm almost at 200%, I have auto renew and I want to upgrade to 2,500. When I transfer, say 1,600 to include the fees and leave a balance, what happened when it's time to auto renew again? How much does it auto renew at?
Well, if you're auto renewing, or you're not, well, first of all, if you're trying to upgrade, you'll never make it to the auto renew. Okay, because what happens is this: if it auto renews, it's going to auto renew at $1,000, and then your process starts all over again, and you missed your window. If you're going to upgrade, guys, you have to upgrade before it auto renews. Okay, the auto renew is your protection to make sure your account doesn't dissolve. But when you want to upgrade, like Mrs. Bean is saying, she's at 10,000 right now. She's not taking any of the money out. She's leaving the whole entire 200% in, but she's prepared to make a $5,500 transaction before, when it gets to about 19,500, she's going to add about 5,500 to it, so she can do the $25,000 upgrade before it gets to 200%. Okay, and I missed it. I know Carly was talking. I talked to Carly, Earl, all the guys in the leadership group, and the first time I missed my opportunity to upgrade from 5,000 to 10,000, and it was basically because when I took all the money out, so I wasn't going to put 25,000 back in or 10,000 in directly. I just put the 4,000. I said, you know what, I'm just going to hold off. I'm not taking anything out, and I'll just build it up to 10,000, and then I'll double it up, at that point in time, and I did. So my next move is the 25,000. So when mine gets to 19,000, I'm going to put 5,500 or just a little bit shy of 6,000 in and make sure I have enough for the 25,000. But if it auto renews, you're going to literally have $1,000 in your $1,000 extra sitting there, but you'll still be getting that 1% a day, basically $10 a day on that 1,000 instead of getting that $25 a day on the 2,500. So do all upgrades before it auto renews.
And to add to that, Mr. Bean, they have that little fun little ticker clock that that tells you when you get to close to the 200%, that would be your max, right? And so when you do your upgrade, that 200% falls back. It may hit back down to 95% or 100%. So now you have another 100 to go. So that also gauges. I like it because it's fun looking, right? But it helps you gauge where you're at as far as percentage as well.
And when you do that, keep in mind, when you do upgrade and it goes back to 100, don't go back to 0, goes back to 100. And so, which means that you need to keep that 100 in there so it can auto renew, or so you can compound and put some on top of it if you want to upgrade at that time. So it's not going to go back to 0 because again, the money has to go in as a contract in the full amount. And what you're doing is taking the money from the old account, which is, what you add in is going to go back to 100, not a 0. So make sure you understand that part. And it was something else, man. But yeah, that part for sure, because I want to make sure you guys got that, because that's another mistake I almost made until Jeremy caught me on that and say, hey, make sure that you don't take anything out. It's at 100%. It's not at 0. Make sure you allow that to stay in, or that contract is going to it's not going to renew.
Thank you, Mr. Bean and Mrs. Bean. That's all the questions I see.
Earl Beckett, he had a question for me earlier that I'm trying to think about what that was. Let's see here. It's a question. 1 second, guys.
Meanwhile, while you think of that, I know Miss Beverly had a second question as well. Did we cover that? Beverly, you recall that second question that you had?
I believe you answered that. It was about the buy balance and the transfer balance and when they were used, and you did cover that already.
Oh, okay.
So I think we're good.
Okay, good, Zilio.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Meanwhile, look at all those beautiful faces. Look at Del Boudreaux. Yeah, crazy Cajun.
And just for the record, guys, as far as like the calls, let's make sure we're more on purpose. And when it comes to content, this year again, I'll be upgrading the content on the Millionaire Mindset calls. We will be having more conversation on money, not just leadership. Even though leadership is still always going to be the primary thing, we will have more money oriented conversations, concepts and things like that, and how to create it. We'll start implementing a lot of different things into the trainings on Millionaire Mondays and Millionaire Mindset Mondays. So I want to keep that right there in front of you guys. So plug in, make sure your people plugging in, and let's see here. Oh, also, one of the questions they did ask me as far as withdrawals, guys, you go the 1% a day, you can't pull it out every day. It's earned every day. It's generated every day. You can pull money out once a week. Okay, money goes in on. I guess they do everything on Thursday, so get it in on Thursday, and you get paid on Friday. Okay? And so now you can ask and request for a withdrawal any day of the week, but they're not going to pay it until that Friday, the upcoming Friday, just for the record. So instead of doing it all, 4 or 5 times a week, you might want to do it once a week. Just make sure you set the clocks for Thursday, and that way you can elaborate on what, Darren. You like the dual team money, or
I was actually asking Stephen Brink to elaborate.
Okay. So yeah, so if it's a dual team, a binary, binary, here we go. Okay, so when it comes to binary, so go back to that what I just said. Dual team money, 1% a day money, leadership bonus, 10%, all of that is paid out again the same day of the week, every week, which is Friday. You do get paid 10% when a person, gets their $100 pack, $1,000 pack, whatever pack they get, you get to 10%. Now, if a person upgrades, again, you get 10% of the upgrade amount. So you're still going to get that as well. Keep in mind that all of those amounts, dual team, 1% a day, upgrade commissions, all of that stuff goes toward that 200%. Right? And so if you have a pack, let's say at a $2,500 pack, and you're at 150%, and so you're a little bit up, almost at $4,000, not at $5,000 yet, right? And somebody comes in with the $10,000 or $25,000 or $50,000 contract, then you're going to get the 25% that's remaining or the 50% that's remaining, but you're going to lose everything else. So make sure that you have a pack that's congruent with the size of accounts that you plan on bringing in. Okay. And make sure that if you have a person that's about to bring some big money in, make sure that you hold up, make sure you get some counseling, make sure you figure out what your strategy is to get that person to get that money in, but also make sure you don't lose any of your actual commission. So let's say if somebody's coming in for 50 and I have enough room for $5,000, I know that 50 is going to get me 5,000, but the 8% that the 50 is going to pay out, maybe another $4,000, I don't want to lose that $4,000. So I'll say, hey, look, put the $25,000 in first. Okay. That way I can make sure that when that goes in, my account, can auto renew. I'll take those commissions, do whatever I need to do with them. And then once I auto renew or once I upgrade, I'll have them put the other 25,000 in. Okay. Or I'll just go ahead, because I know we had a lot of people who came in at $100 just to play with it, to kind of see what it looked like, what it felt like, and see how it functioned. Now that you're excited, don't go and be too excited and get ahead of yourself and start bringing people in before you actually upgrade your account to where you really want it to be. Okay. And that's the question that They asked me earlier today, to make sure they knew how to move without putting their people in positions of loss. All right.
Okay, another question earlier was do people get a daily return from their teammates, or if it's only for the initial purchase and upgrades?
The only daily return that you get on teammates are when you put people in daily in your dual team. Yeah, your dailies come from your 1% a day. If you got people coming in on both sides of your dual team, that's when you get dailies. When you actually liquidating volume from the left and volume on the right, that's when it happens every day, because you got people coming in every day. And that's where you really want to have it at anyway. You want to have people coming in, again, so you have money over here, 8% coming from your dual team. And now you take that money to help you upgrade. You take that money to help you, do the things that you really want to do and get to your goals faster as well. So for me, anytime I'm in a binary situation, I make sure my goal is to build it to where it spits out money every day, not just on my money. So,
Okay, there's a question in the chat, Mr. Bean.
okay.
Okay, his question is, I did $100 contract. Is it wise for me to do $100 in Bitcoin, or should I just leave the extra 100? When I asked him to elaborate, he said one of the leaders from Lance Green said when he gets to 200%, he suggested that $100 should go to Bitcoin and the other 100 will auto renew his contract. His question is it wise for him to send $100 in Bitcoin, or should he leave the extra 100 to help him upgrade his contract?
Again, just like what we just talked about, first of all, guys, when you look at $100, you don't want to play, play this game not to lose. Okay. And when you look at $100, if you're looking at sitting $100 in there for 3 or 4 months waiting on it to double, again, you got to look at your goals. Let's talk about your goals. Okay? The type of money you're looking at earning, what your goal is, because at the end of the day, that's what's going to determine what you do with your money when it's in there. Okay? So, but if you're looking to upgrade, yeah, leave it in there. I'm not touching nothing until it's done, if that's my goal. If I'm just taking it out every 3 months to 4 months, that's what I'm okay with. And I just want a couple of dollars, go to the casino and put some nickels and dimes in the slot machines. Hey, you know, do that and take the money out. But taking $100 in Bitcoin out, me personally, for me and my money, I'm building up as much money as I can so I can get a big amount of Bitcoin out. So it actually makes a difference. When you look at the way Bitcoin is rising right now, it's at 45 grand right now. Most of you guys remember when it was at 13,000, but a lot of you missed the fact that it got to 25, 35, 40, and 45. And it's doing it, which is why you really and truly want to go ahead and get to a point where your contract is where you're at a position where you don't even want to upgrade it no more. You just want to be there taking money out and have the contract in and letting it auto renew. When you get to that point, when I get to that point, like when I get to $50,000 on my contract, that's when I will now start taking money out, 50% of everything that I make out. 50% of everything that I make out, 50% of everything that I make out, and I'm taking that out in Bitcoin and I'm leaving it in Bitcoin unless I have another investment to do. That's what I am doing. I'm personally doing. That's my personal scenario. Okay. So that's Jeremy's plan. So again, get with your goal. Consult your goal. You know what I'm saying? If you have a question about what type of money you need to be in, look at your goal and then say, okay, so goal, what do I need? And goals say you need to get this up to $500, or you need to get this up to $5,000, or you need to get this up to $20,000, depending on what your goal says you need, and then behave in a manner that's conducive and congruent with that goal. Yeah.
Sorry, Mr. Bean.
I mean, I was Laura Johnson repeated it. She said, "Get what you go." I said, "Yeah, that's get what you go. Get what you go." So you don't need. Remember, your goals are your counselor. If you feel like you're in a great place, you feel like you believe in what's going on, the next person you want to talk to is your goal. You don't have to ask anybody for their advice at that point in time. You know exactly what you need, what you're willing to invest, what you want to make, and that's what you make your decisions based off of at that time.
Thank you, sir. I see a question that says, how soon can you make consecutive upgrades?
Oh, you can make upgrades in the same week. You can go from $100 to $500, and then you can go $500 to $2,500 the same week because you have people who get money in batches. So you have people who wait for a check at their job, or you got people who wait for a weekly check from another platform, or you got people who, just money is coming in. Whenever you make the decision to upgrade, you can upgrade at any time. There's no, you got to wait 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 months, anything like that. You can upgrade the same week. You can upgrade the same day, literally. So again, it just depends on you when you make your decisions on when you want to upgrade. Just pull the trigger when you make that decision with no hindrances, no encumbrances.
Thank you, sir. I see one last question from Laura. She says, do you know what exchange is used for folks in Trinidad?
What exchange? Kim, you want to answer that?
I had looked it up and it says that Binance, Kraken, and CoinMama are very good in Trinidad. Kraken, to me, in my opinion, is challenging to work with. It's not the easiest. It's not too friendly. Binance, I don't care for, but it works differently. US Binance, I can't stand, but it may work differently in Trinidad because it's a different country. And CoinMama, I've heard of it, but I haven't used it. So I would suggest if they're new to the crypto platform, go with Binance or CoinMama first. Kraken, let that be the last one.
Yeah, always go with simple. Remember, success comes from simplicity. Okay? I'm gonna just tell you, and stress comes from complicating everything. Like anytime you have an opportunity to take steps out of something, that's what you do. Again, some of these platforms, they have you adding steps, and it's a problem. That's how you end up losing money a lot of times, again, when it gets complicated. So And that's the thing. And there's a lot of people, if you're from Trinidad or you have people from Trinidad who are in that space, ask them. They'll tell you what's the best out there. They'll tell you what's the easiest, what you have less problems and challenges with, and and go from there as well. On top, you don't have to just take Mrs. Bean's advice on it. It's good advice, but again, there's a lot of resources out there, that you can actually pull from and get some really good, information and dialogue going. And who knows, you may ask the right person that question. They may ask you what you got your hands on. And then next thing you know, you end up getting somebody to start in your process, in your project, based on you just being being on the lookout for information. All
Thank
right. Anything else, Carla?
No, sir.
All right, guys. Well, man, we had a 2-hour show. Well, you know what? That's how you start the new year off. And the good thing about it is we didn't lose any bodies. Again, everybody stayed on. Everybody, again, hopefully you guys got some good information. Ms. Bean, I appreciate you, for jumping in here and volunteering. And Laura and Dr. Arlene, I appreciate you guys for coming in and doing the PS5, and Carly and Lashnique. I appreciate you guys for, again, standing in the gap and doing the presentations on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So again, guys, Thursday, another presentation. Be on the lookout for information. And also we got some things I'll be getting with Jeremy on. So we'll be doing a special event at some point in time for our group, as far as our presentation. And then also be looking forward to, I'll be looking forward to doing 3 Ways Lifelines. Anything else you need to make sure you get your questions and answers for the people who are coming on board. So again, with everything that we do when it comes to the passive platform space, guys, always remember, don't put yourself in a position, that you'll regret, investing in anything if you're in a position to where if you lose it, you lose everything. Okay? Invest what you can afford to lose, invest what you can walk away from. And it doesn't matter, what we say or how we say it. Some of y'all just like gambling. It's like the Surgeon General putting, cigarette warnings on the side of the cigarette. You just don't matter that they put it there. You're still gonna light it up, right? So, but I'm not doing this, from a disclaimer perspective. I'm doing this because I care. 2024, we got to be smarter. We got to be smarter in what we do. And sometimes a little bit of muscle is worth a whole lot more than your money. Okay. And so put some people in business and create the type of investment that you really would have put in and had you just did it with money alone. And that's kind of how I do business. I'm willing to go out there and work for, my investment capital as opposed to, leveraging what's in my wallet. Okay. And so again, that's what millionaires do. That's what billionaires do. And that's what you guys should be doing. So with that, we'll see you guys next Monday, not Tuesday, next Monday, same time, same line, more people. Happy New Year's, everybody.